Hey, what's up guys? I am Joe from Workbench, and this week we're going to talk about how to use text animators to reveal text with itself. Alright, so before we start, I want to let you know that, like most of my tutorials, this one's more about the concept and not the exact effect. That said, I'm going to make a preset of this available so you can download it. So we're going to make this one layer self-revealing text. And all of that right there is pretty much made with text. There's a couple of stroked lines, but that's about it. So this is nice because since it's a single layer, you can actually make it into presets. So let's see what's actually going on here. Let's go to this first comp over here. We're going to open this up. And you can see I have a bunch of text animators and a few effects. The effects are just some position points and some scale sliders. Initially I built it without these controls, but it's a lot easier to change it with them. Our first animator changes all the characters to the underscore character, which is value of 95 in ASCII. So right now everything is selected, and these keyframes push the start of the range from the left side all the way over to the right so that it deselects everything. The same thing goes for scale. At the beginning we have it scaled really tall, and then that too deselects as we go on, which you can see if we scrub through here. Let's close that one up. And then our final three animators are just position. So the first one sets our initial position so that the text is down here. The next sets our top position, where this goes up to the top. And since this is scaling vertically, that's going to affect that. So we kind of have to counter it a little bit. And then our final position brings it back down. And then the characters just animate back to their original character. One note is that in the range selector here for the character, we have smoothness set to 0. That makes sure that it doesn't interpolate through all of the other letters in between underscore and whatever letter we have. So that one's really easy. It just so happens that our underscore characters in this font actually fit together perfectly without having to scale the X. But if you have gaps in yours, you can just scale X a little bit. And some of the other ones I've done, I've actually also offset the scale keyframes so that the scale waits until we're really at the top and then they start coming down. That way the gap stays closed, but we also get thin as we go to the top still. And then this one right here is just an example of it working with a different typeface. So then in example 3, we actually do something a little bit different. This layer right here, if we click on it, is the equals character scaled vertically. As you can see here, I was just messing with the positions. I didn't actually link the scales in. So I put a mask on it, which I'll delete here real quick so you can see what it looks like. So you can have something just gigantic like that if you want. Or you can use a mask to make it a little bit more sensible. So this just scales back down to an equals sign and then becomes the text. Kind of like it's closing in from the top and the bottom. And that's basically the same kind of thing, except for the positions are a little bit different. If we open it up, you can see what it looks like. It's a character setting it to equals, a scale again, initial position, middle position, and final position. It's a little bit more tricky to go horizontal, but as you can see in my example, you can actually go horizontal. This whole thing where the text is blinking like a cursor, and this revealing thing, it's basically just turning into the pipe character, and then the tracking and position are animated until it compresses into one piece. Then I chopped it and put the strobe effect on it, and then I took that piece and I animated the scale and the position until it covered the old piece. And then the pop at the end is actually just an errant keyframe that I left in because I thought it looked kind of neat. So while going horizontal is a little bit more tricky, you can still do it. You could probably even take your text and convert the end characters to brackets and have the brackets open up and reveal the text in the middle, or do all sorts of neat little things just by changing to a different ASCII character. So while there's a little bit more setup involved, being able to just make these into a preset means that it's very easy to use in the rest of your project. So I encourage you to explore and find some different shapes that you can use to animate like this, because I'm sure there's a lot of different things that you can do with it. Alright guys, if you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comments down below. And if you feel like helping to support what I do, check out patreon.com/workbench. And make sure you check us out on workbench.tv. I'll probably post a new article to the blog soon about making presets again, because I actually found another interesting problem that you might need to work around. Alright, I am Joe from Workbench, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.